I had a vampire come in my house.
Welcome.
I haven't been sucked off good in a while.
That's funny. Welcome to the show, everybody out there. What's going on is we're greasing the polls. Hashtag grease the polls for the spooky season. If I sound like I have a lisp, it's because I'm wearing vampire fangs. It won't be the whole episode.
Because I punched him in the mouth earlier.
Yeah. Okay, what's going on, everybody? You know who I am. I am Tom. Oh, well, do you even have what you usually have?
I was gonna, but you interrupted. Yeah, like you usually do. I don't know. I like the vampire one. I got another one. It's like my friend. Well, it was just like last week. My friend told me, dared me to take like schizophrenic drugs.
Yeah,
and then he disappeared.
That's actually quite hilarious. You know me. I am Tomcat, aka Tom Thompson, and who do we have?
Oh, my name's Billy.
That's Billy. I heard it's retarded or something.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I got the vampire fangs in for this spooky specific episode, greasing the polls to the Halloween season. See, for all the YouTube listeners, I'll eventually take them out.
Hashtag grease the polls.
God damn it! What was the truth?
There you go. You're done. You did it. It's over. You're done.
A couple more minutes. Stay in anymore.
Hey, you're like me. Do you want mine?
Yeah. We're talking about vampires.
Maybe that's why they fucking talk like that, because they all got a lisp.
Yeah, I know. We're vampires. Yeah, we're talking about vampires, but specifically vampires of Ontario. Get a good clip. Fucking look at the screen so we can do a little good clip art for the episode. All right, getting these stupid fucking things out.
Dumb.
What's going on, everybody? I'm excited. I love Halloween. You know, we're just greasing the polls for the Halloween season.
Stop. Fuck.
We have a special. We'll have a special live special, but off the top, obviously, let's just tell the fans. Okay, so October 28th, the live special is at 6:30, and you can find it on Facebook, YouTube.
6:30.
Yeah, it's just because Aaron's going to be joining us, and Aaron is in Ireland.
Aaron's a bitch.
And you know what time we'll be in Ireland? Like 12 o'clock. It'll be like midnight when he joins us.
Good. Well, he's already staying up till midnight, so he can stay up till 1.
He's going to be up because the live session, we're going to do a lot of fun things, show some videos. The live session is going to be a lot of fun. And then for the Halloween special, as we do every year, you will see me, Billy, and Anton on that one. We'll all be dressed up, so don't forget to tune into that.
Who is who? Because you won't recognize them, nor will you remember their voices.
For this episode, I have vodka and cranberry juice. Oh, you didn't even
pour it on the thing.
And it's supposed to look like blood. See, it looks like blood. Everything's red right now in the studio because the lighting
I know, it feels like we're going to bed. Can we please turn on the other light?
It seems like we're in the red light district. We're fucking partying, man. We're getting some hookers and shit.
That's what I mean. We'd be going to bed. I'd be like, hey, now I got my 6 hookers. No, I just want cuddle. Let's go sleep.
I just want cuddles. And, you know, we got all this stuff coming for Halloween. It's going to be super exciting. So as I say to the audio listeners and people that usually tune in audio, you know, subscribe to the YouTube. Just look up Stranger Podcast. And we'll see if I don't know if you can air to BitChute, but we create a BitChute just in case. And you can just look up Stranger Podcast and you can find us on BitChute. It's just starting off.
What is BitChute?
It's like YouTube, but not censored. You can find all the stuff against pharma and the shots and the government and Bill Gates and a lot of stuff like that. But a lot of podcasters put stuff up on, like, say, Rockfin, which I still we could be on Rockfin. I'm just fucking been too busy to get all my shit figured out for that. But BitChute's easy. I'm just starting to load up episodes on there now. So if you go subscribe to BitChute, I would very much appreciate that.
It's kind of cool. I've never even seen that. I'd love to see all the uncensored shit.
Yeah, and it will be for episodes too that if, say, they get pulled from YouTube, we'll hopefully be able to put them up on BitChute.
Cool.
It's like the episode me and Juan did where we talked about the Freedom Convoy that got pulled from YouTube, and I lost the video though. And then I was like shitty, so I wasn't able to. Yeah, so we are talking about vampires, sexy vampires.
They honestly, like, in the right amount of alcohol, like, yeah.
Vampires are a strange thing to begin with, right there. Put your dick in the hole, see what happens.
Like, I'm all right with that. I bet they do some tongue work before they cut it off.
Yeah,
I bet they give you a little bit.
There is thank you. There is a specific there's a specific movie. Yeah, get used to it. Whoa,
Christ.
there is a specific movie. I don't know which. There is definitely a horror movie where the chick like bites into the fucking guy. The guy's.
You made me sit in the fucking dark for so long, and you're like, "Here, high beams."
So just change the lighting because Billy was falling asleep in the red light district.
Jesus Christ!
So I have my blood drink for this specific episode.
Fuck, can you turn it down like one notch at least?
No, it's gotta be bright in here, man.
That bright?
Yep, it's a studio.
You can do like one notch.
Okay.
Because I can't look at the. That's a little better.
I
just honestly just like dimmed it a little bit. We're good.
Yeah. So vampires, it is, and like when it comes to vampires, obviously, and a specific episode, it would be out after this one, but for Aaron's show, First Class Horror, Class Cast Horror, we'll be talking about all different types of vampire horror movies. It's going to be a lot of fucking fun.
You've probably seen all.
Do you
of
like
them now, eh?
I've been watching a bunch, man. I've watched Interview with a Vampire. I've watched Near Dark, which I've never seen before, or maybe I saw it when I was a kid. That one was pretty good. It has I can't remember that douchebag's name, but that one was pretty good. I've been watching a lot of the Hammer films, which are my fucking favorite. I just got into them. Didn't know about the Hammer films beforehand, and it was during the 60s. And for the people on YouTube, when we played an intro, Billy was a vampire. That was Christopher Lee from Lord of the Rings, and he used to play Dracula.
Oh, cool.
And
I didn't know that.
And it was in the 60s when they're trying to revive like Frankenstein, and they just put out all these crazy movies, lower budget, but all real costumes. But it was kind of to revive all that shit, and it was pretty good. And we watched them outside, and I was like, these are actually kind of awesome because it's like the 60s vibes and everything. And so I've been watching all those, tons of vampire shit. I think
the only one I ever watched was the one with the Flight of the Conchords people.
You've never seen any vampire movie?
Well, the one with the Flight of the Conchords.
You haven't seen Dracula?
Well,
I watched Dracula 2000. That didn't really hold up.
I can't say I've ever sat through the whole thing.
I watched Interview with the Vampire.
Sure.
Interview with the Vampire, the gayest vampire movie ever.
I'm sure he probably had him on an interview. It was like casting couch, I'm assuming.
It's kind of like that. It has Brad Pitt and the Scientology douche.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, and it's just like it very hints at they're like gay together or they love each other, and it's
they probably do.
It's strange, and then they turn fucking Kirsten Dunst to a vampire when she's like a child, and then she like has the maturity. Another thing with vampires, right? You don't die, right? Supposedly you die and then come back, so to speak. But the thing is, they turn her when she's like 11, which is like when I do a lot of psychedelics now. I microdose all the time, and you start to see things that are probably symbolic in movies and stuff like that, and it's very kind of pedophilic because she's like an 11-year-old girl, but she's growing in her mind mentally, like maturely, but she's stuck inside that body. So it's kind of weird because you think about that. If somebody bites you right now, a vampire, right?
Yeah.
You would stay the same age, but mentally and maturely you would grow.
Yeah, that would suck for that girl.
I know. And then so she's she's kind of connected with Brad Pitt, and there's kind of like they have like a dance scene where it seems like they're very much into each other, and it's just like she kind of seems to want him, but she can't because she's a fucking child. It is very strange.
I mean, she probably could if she really wanted them.
It's in today's society. Yeah, maps are becoming a thing. So
are you talking about pedophile maps?
Yeah,
like sex offender maps.
Like it's minor attracted persons. That's what they're coming out with now, and they're trying to link themselves in, which it's not, because Anton would be mad.
Pardon me, what? Yeah. Minor attract? So
like we can't use the word pedophile anymore because like it's not their fault they're attracted to children.
Damn.
Yeah, it's fucked, man. It's coming out in like psychology and like colleges and stuff like that. Psychology majors. I saw a woman that was like, I'm a psychiatrist, and you know what? They're just known as MAPS. They're minor attracted people.
Here's the thing, though. Like,
fuck, man.
To be fair, like, yeah, that's something fucked up with your head. It's kind of like it's like anything else that you do. Like, if you're a drinker, like, okay, yeah, sometimes people like genuinely can't help that. It's addiction.
I know it can break addiction. Mushrooms.
That being said. Whether it's their fault or not, they just need to die. Like we can't be having this. This is not okay. I'm so sorry that this has affected you, but you're by.
Tom Cruise used a witchcraft homie to get the fire off me.
It's fucking stupid.
Does that sound like Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Is that Will Ferrell?
Who's using witchcraft only to get the fire off me?
What movie is that from?
Talladega Nights.
Oh, I knew.
It's like, you're not on fire, Bobby. Yeah, we're talking about vampires, and like we're gonna get into it when we talk about it on First Class Horror with me, Aaron, and Anton, and all the different vampire movies. But it is an interesting thing because obviously it might have to do with the fucking reptilians who fucking knows, ding ding. But that ancient culture out, it's always been a story for a long time. I know. And so there's a lot of strange things to do with vampires, obviously, and how, you know, you stay young and you have to consume. But then in the interview, the vampire does play it very well, where he's like, Brad Pitt's character literally drinks the blood of rats at the beginning because he doesn't want to consume human beings because he didn't really want to be turned.
Yo, does that mean a bunch of vampire rats? Is that why they're fucking everywhere?
I think he just sucks them till they're dry, so to speak.
So if you did that to a person, is that how they kill you? If they like suck you till you're dry, do you not turn into a vampire? You just die?
Yeah. If you're just getting a bite, right, you'll turn into a vampire. But if they suck all the blood out of you, you're going to die.
Dog's trying to break in.
Yeah, fucking Charlie. Yeah, so we're talking about vampires. And it's just it is a strange thing. It's been in culture for a long time. And then, you know, and that's why it's interesting because, like, he doesn't want to kill people because it's an infliction. It's a curse, essentially. And what
are you going to do? Fuck it. Like, after...
Just embrace it.
After 700 years, I'm sure you're just like, my morals, I'm kind of done with them.
I know. So, if a place like Sleepy Hollow has any equivalent in Canada, it is arguably the quiet back country east of Algonquin Park. Instead of comprising the hill country of Hudson River, and this enchanted region constitutes the watershed of the Madawaska River, rather than accompanied by the descendants and accommodating the descendants of the Dutch settlers. The area is populated by Irish, Scottish, German, and especially Polish immigrants. What do you think about
in Algonquin?
Polish? Yeah, and back in the day.
Oh, I thought you were talking about right now.
No,
like,
when they first started migrating.
Like, I'm 90% sure, like, most of Algonquin is like 16 white bitches, 16-year-old white bitches
going camping. Yeah, and it essentially back then when these Dutch, Irish settlers and German and Polish and all these different types of people,
they all picked Algonquin, I guess.
First moved to Canada. And the region is steep with folklore and superstition. And like Sleepy Hollow, some of its inhabitants are prone to, might they say, exotic beliefs. Might they say? Also, microdose for this episode, so we'll see how that goes. Because there is an article on the strange death of an 18-year-old girl from Palmer Rapids, Ontario. Palmer. Have you heard Palmer Rapids?
I don't know where the fuck. I'm assuming that's by Algonquin.
I'm assuming there's rapids there.
Probably.
And who drowned herself. So how do you drown yourself? In the Madawaska, which is, I think it's a river it's a Madawaska.
I'm assuming it has water if she drowned.
And in the summer and that was in the summer of 1948, prompted by the teachings of strange sectarian cult that her father had invented.
Didn't they do a study? Isn't it impossible to drown yourself?
Okay, Billy, think about a body of water. Right?
Well, I guess like if you physically like put like weights on you, I thought you meant like somebody just put their face in it and it's like, I thought I read that somewhere. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like, can you drown in a cup of water?
Yeah, no restraints or anything, but you just like, you literally like go like, here's my body. Nothing's tying me down. I'm going to drown myself. I'm pretty sure like they did studies where it's like physically impossible to do that because your body will reject it and you will come to surface.
It's just like the same way of trying to suffocate yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But
your body's like, nah, okay, we're going to keep living.
Think about if you swim to maybe
okay, like okay.
And then as you're coming up, you're like
when you say drowned yourself, not just drowned, it means like in my mind it's like you forced your body into this water and you held yourself there until you died.
That's true.
Or she could have put like cement blocks on her feet. I don't fucking know.
But she drowned herself, they say, in the summer of 1948. So
she just drowned.
And she was surrounded by the teachings of a strange sectarian cult that her father invented. And
actually, you're already right. This is sketchy because they say yourself. Yeah. If she just drowned for any occasion whatsoever, people just say she drowned. But they had to go out of their way to be like, we didn't do it. Yeah. She drowned herself.
And this is, did I say I have cranberry and vodka water? Did I say I had vodka in it? It looks like blood.
You said vodka and
Okay.
Cranberry. Is that vodka, water, and cranberry? Is that what you're fucking drinking?
It's cranberry juice and vodka straight. Yes.
I was like, you fucking pussy.
And I microdosed. Okay. Anton's like, fucking Jesus Christ. Every episode, I'm like microdosing and shit. And the one episode we did with the wolf and the bull, and it was all about politics. I took like fucking almost a gram, and I was like, at the beginning, my trip was starting to say, I was like, maybe I took too much, and I was like just zoned out. Considering the computer, it doesn't look like normal. You know what I mean? So I was like, maybe this was a bad idea. Because I thought I was just microdosing, and I was like, maybe I took a couple too many pills. Like fuck.
You say it breaks addiction, but you're addicted to it.
I'm addicted to being happy because it makes me feel happy.
Fucking same.
But that's depressant. Afterwards, you feel like shit.
No, I don't.
I can do high dose of mushrooms and not feel like shit the next day.
I can drink 90 of these and I wake up just fine.
Yeah, you sure?
I don't get hangovers.
Billy's a strange creature. Maybe you are a vampire. Fucking pale knees. I should have turned the camera.
Dude, look at my knees.
So you don't see your fucking knees.
I'm gonna play with them.
So the first, the first permanent, community that these Polish Canadians established was in the village of Wilno, Ontario. Don't even know where that is, and I'm in Ontario. We're in Ontario right now. We're inside of Ontario. I don't know where that is.
Google Maps, I'm sure does.
Wilno.
Like Willno.
No, Wilno. Wilno, Ontario.
Oh no, Ontario.
How far is it from here?
Almost 5 hours.
Holy shit! So it's up north, probably.
It can't be south.
Yeah, because that would be in the States.
It looks like it's about an hour east of Ottawa.
Oh, I see.
Pembroke.
So it's in. Is it in Quebec?
It's by Pembroke. No, it's Ontario.
Oh yeah, I was like, it said Ontario.
Ottawa's Ontario.
Oh yeah, true. Okay, so and obviously the Polish people brought their fucking strange superstition and all the stuff that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
The Kashub immigrants who settled in Ontario,
the Kashub.
Like Poles, the world over, they were very staunch Roman Catholics. They're kind of like Polish, I guess.
Okay, I got you.
But like they're a sect of people, just like this chick that drowned herself. Was in a cult. She was in a cult, a sectarian cult, which essentially it's like a super religious cult, but it's a section of Christianity. Essentially, that's why it's sectarian, which I had to look up because I was like, what the fuck is that shit?
I was just like a horse cult.
Yeah. A vasectomy cult?
No, it was a horse cult. The sectarian.
Oh, yeah. Why this sectarian?
That was like the world's most famous racehorse.
Why would I know that? Is that like common knowledge?
Extremely
strange. You're a strange fellow.
That's not me. If one person did not know that before I said it, send me a message.
Billy is a nuisance.
I like the ones that you got on this one.
So obviously it is strange. So they came over here. They're very staunch Roman Catholics, in addition to their Catholic faith. However, they were the first in Ontario. The Kashups imported an older folk religion into the Madawaska Valley. Okay. And they supposedly were compiled their Catholicism. This and the shadowy tapestry. There you go. Tapestry. It's whatever you ever want to pronounce it.
No, it is not. That's like potato. It's like, well, one's right. The other one's nonsense.
Folklore and superstition they brought with them was a product of the Eastern Europe, a relic of old Slavic ancestors of this weird tradition. This old religion constitutes a belief in hexes, black magic, and various supernatural entities, and prescribed methods by which people could protect themselves from these malevolent forces and remedy the noxious effects.
It's like all of this is like old-timey microdosing.
I'm always high.
I just meant like the whole like art and culture of microdosing. This is before that.
It is.
You just take this little thing and all of a sudden,
I know
all these. Damn, that's heavy as fuck.
It's a fucking lighter. Be careful. Don't fucking set the fucking. That's for my cigars. Don't waste it. That's why I like to fucking chew mushrooms, watch movies outside, and smoke cigars. That's my fucking new thing. I've said it many times now on this podcast, I'm sure. And I think tomorrow, when it's going to be a Saturday, I think we're going to watch The Witch, outside. It's very creepy film. And then obviously one of these films.
You just bring a fucking TV outside?
No, I have a fucking projector with a huge screen. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, cool.
It's awesome. I was joking about maybe like it'd be cool if you guys could come down.
Oh, I remember you saying that. I thought you just meant that was an idea, though.
No, I got it. It's fucking fun as shit.
I can just see Tom lying in the field on his phone watching a movie. He's like, I like watching this outside.
And I've been tripping balls. We watched The Village, and I was like on 3 grams of mushrooms. And like, I don't tell Chelsea what I'm seeing. I just kind of try to act normal. But like, everything is like a hexagonic pattern. Like I'm in a fucking kaleidoscope, and I'm like, okay. And then like, The Village is a weird movie to begin with. The blind chick's like staring at the screen. I'm like, okay, I need to calm down a bit.
Okay.
And then I go pee. And it's dark as shit. And then I stare into the darkness and I can see all sorts of weird fucking shit. And Anton's like, yeah, you've never just stared into the darkness and just see what happens. I was like, not yet, but I'll get there. It's just like, I'm going to see a reptilian. Look at yourself as the fucking scariest thing I've ever seen. Not the scariest, the craziest thing.
Oh, it's usually pretty scary.
It's fucking weird. And I was watching.
I only come over here once every other week. It's kind of, I gotta
fuck you, Billy. Fuck you, Billy.
But mushrooms are fucking interesting, and I will be doing a video of that for the YouTube.
I'm sure you've already done a couple.
No, I've just done small little fun TikToks about
and just rants.
No, not yet.
What do you mean? You've done like 4 since we started 22 minutes ago.
Oh, it's true. Everybody chew mushrooms and love each other. That's what I got to tell you. So it's so weird. So in the 1960s, rumors that this belief system was still alive, well in Canadian Kashub communities, and I've never heard of the Kashabs. If you're a Kashub out there, or you know someone that is, send it my way, strangerpodcast@gmail.com. I just don't know about this religion. I've never heard of it before, ever. Have you ever?
No,
like this like sect of people, the Polish.
Oh, I wonder if you are where the cashews came from.
Cashews are.
Why did you price them so high?
The cashew people. It's like people that just eat fucking nuts, and that's all they eat, and they actually come to become a nut.
You can live a decent diet off like just pretty much just nuts.
It's saturated fat, but not trans fat, so it's better for you, so to speak. They say. They do say.
Oh, that's homophobic, actually.
Oh my god, I don't give a shit, man. You think I care? Man, cancel me. I'll fucking come to your family and I'll fucking Charles Manson their asses.
I want to see someone get canceled for saying trans fat is bad.
That's really funny. I didn't pick that up till afterwards. Again.
Billy is a nuisance.
Fucking so fucked. Man, it made me laugh. And that one element of this Canadian Kashubian. Just check this.
Kashubian.
You might be right. Kashubian.
Hey, that's exactly actually how I'd probably say it.
Yeah, Kashubian. Cool. Kashubian demonology. And we're probably going to butcher it. If you're someone who is a Kashub, I'm fucking sorry. Okay? I'm always apologizing. I'm a cringy motherfucker, as you know. It's okay.
He just learned how to say sorry recently. It's nice.
Sorry. I was on another podcast. They're like, oh, I love how Canadians say sorry. And I was like, I don't fucking hear it, but I guess it's sorry. I guess if you just listen, maybe. I don't know.
I've never, you also, don't hear it, like, sorry.
I got another fucking, and fans out there, if you think so, let's start a fucking, a poll. I got another fucking somebody said that I sound like Jonah Hill. It's like the fucking 4th person. I was like, I don't hear it. I don't know. Fucking maybe I am. Maybe I am Jonah Hill.
I don't think so. I wouldn't say it.
How many fucking people? Like, I have so many people by now. Like, fucking strange. And I was like, did you come to this conclusion on your own? They're like, yeah. I'm like, fucking weird, because I know we mentioned it before, but it's another person saying that shit.
Now that's all I'm thinking. It's like I can see the resemblance a little bit.
Oh my, no, they're saying my voice.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like when you talk, I can see I can hear the resemblance. Yes. My bad.
So they brought like their beliefs of demonology and actually a belief in vampires. And this still was around the 60s per se.
Okay.
And in 1968, 15 Polish Canadians were interviewed and documented their folklore and their traditions, which is kind of cool. And the study in 1969,
documented how?
By them talking, and they wrote it down.
Wrote it down with a what?
A quill.
Okay. I was going to say, because I'm like, whatever ink is there, that's gone. But
a pencil, man. Like the study in 1969.
Oh, I thought you said 69.
No. 1969. Like the time where everyone was doing psychedelics.
I thought you said 1660, and I was like, what the fuck were they writing with? That's like still today. I'm like, everyone's just got stoned.
You know, they had pencils back then, right?
Yeah, but whatever you wrote with at that time frame would have been gone. But they did not have pencils back in fucking 1600s.
Are you sure? Like the witch time? Didn't they fucking? We gotta always Google things for fucking.
Well, when you fucking call me out, because a part of me wants to say pencils were only invented like less than 100 years ago.
I don't know, man. Fuck, maybe I should have took 3 fucking pills of mushrooms.
The pencil invented.
It's gonna go way back. Like you're not gonna get an accurate.
The modern pencil was invented like a little more recently, but the whole idea of a pencil was created in 1795.
Oh, so they didn't have pencils. They had a quill still where you dipped it in ink. Okay. And we're talking about the fucking 60s where a bunch of hippies were doing fucking LSD, which is on my list to do next.
One line.
Fucking mushrooms.
Yes. One line.
Fuck. It's making me laugh.
Take me so fucking long to write a letter. It's like, we got time. I don't got anything. I got no TV shows to watch.
No, you got nothing to do with it. And their favorite thing to do is fucking public hangings, dude. It's like go out and be like, fuck this bitch.
I hope I can finish this letter by next week's public hanging. Line.
My wife is a witch.
That's thousands of dips to write that.
Man, what a time where if your wife was just acting up, you're like, hey, fucking don't you dare. Or I'll fucking scream at the top of my lungs with a bell in the town that you're a witch. I saw my wife turn
I just
into a
miss
cat.
the days where you could just hit them.
Oh my God.
Just kidding.
I'm very drunk, and I intend getting still drunker before the evening's over.
What is that from?
It's an old ass movie. I don't know.
What was it from?
I don't know.
My boss has said that to me like 8 times.
No idea.
And he always smiles after he says it. Oh my God, I can say he's referencing something now. I'm gonna fucking ask him.
I don't know what movie it is.
That drives me nuts.
I have a fucking thing where I find all my little clips and I just type in a word and it fucking brings them up. So it's I'm not telling my secrets. So it is. So they studied this, okay, and they interviewed people of these Polish Canadians that have these folklore traditions and people that at least still knew of it and it was still within their culture, which is actually kind of fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I've always said, being a fucking white dude from Canadian, all I am is Canadian. I know, like, and I heard, like, you know, people like Aaron that's actually Irish would make fun of me, but I'm like, I got Irish blood, I got Scottish blood. It's like, but it's so far back. I'm just Canadian, okay? I have no culture. My culture is fucking whatever Trudeau wants it to be. Every episode. All right, this is the study in 1969. 3 years later, a book was published entitled Vampires, Dwarves, and Witches Among the Ontario Cashubs. So, and this is just talking about vampires of Ontario. So I'd be curious of the Cashubs when it comes to dwarves and witches too. Eventually, we'll be diving into witches one day. We'll get into it. The Cashub vampire is malicious, undead being in which certain people transform after death. And the vampire will emerge from its coffin at midnight.
So cool.
Visit homes of their relatives and either kill them by sucking out their blood or carry them away, never to be seen again. That's kind of mean.
I fucking hated all you. You remember? Remember? Dinner 17 years ago, and I just happened to be the last one served, and there wasn't enough taters for me. Now you're dead.
What a fucking strange tradition, like strange folklore, where essentially, yeah, it's like this you're undead being, and you realize you're a vampire, and it's just like you visit your relatives.
That's fucking terrifying. You know what that is?
Emerge from a coffin.
You know what that fucking is extra. Not only are they mourning the fact that their family just died, now they're also petrified that he's gonna come back and kill him.
Yeah, coming back from.
He's like, we treated him so well. I don't know why he's doing this.
He's like knocking at your door, and it's like, shit. Okay, we didn't think Jehoshaphat, whatever fucking names are back then, fucking in folklore. What's a Polish name?
Madeline.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, Madeline is going to come back and she's scratching.
That's the English version. It's damn it, I forget what it's called. It's just my buddy's wife is named Madeline. She's from Poland.
Oh, fucking Polish.
That's her. It's like a different. It's like Madalini or Madeline.
Is her last name Bilowski?
No, it's
or Zanowski.
Fuck, I
or
forget what her.
Tulowski.
No,
It's always skis in the last fucking
I bet
name.
it's a ski. I asked them a while ago. Whatever, not a big deal.
So that is or you carried away to never be seen again. Also, ding dong, the fucking queen is dead. Fuck that bitch. Yes, just
Damn, I
that.
didn't know where you were going. I was just like, dun, 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 the witch is dead.
Might as well. This is coming out the same time we're recording it around, so fuck that bitch. And
I loved it. As soon as it happened,
everyone was talking about it at work, and I was like, whoever feels sorry for that bitch, fuck her.
So I went to it happened. I didn't even fucking know. You know how disconnected I am from everything because
you just work.
Well, I deleted so many social media platforms where like I'm not on really.
What happens when we get famous, man, and people want to know what you're up to?
Well, like I still have a physical account, but I'm not logging in there.
Yeah.
Like I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Facebook. I'm not really.
The only thing
on
Billy's
TikTok.
on is on Pornhub.
Yeah. There's a lot of good shit on there. If you haven't seen that website, I'll tell you what, it's got some good material. New material too.
Oh, shit.
With new people. It's like they somehow just find all these actresses.
Once the blood sucking reverend has dealt with his family members, it will make its way to the local chapel and ring the church bell. To me, a lot of times witches and vampires are not allowed on hallowed grounds. So in their tradition and folklore, they are. It's the same way there's some.
What do you mean not on a lot of hallowed grounds?
The grounds that are religious, like
that's what you mean by hallow. Sorry.
So okay. Cemeteries that are in a religious cemetery or a church.
I love all those rules in the sense of you're talking about a being that's super fucked up. He's like, hey, I respect your rules.
Are you gonna watch Hocus Pocus this year?
I'm gonna say, like, do you want me to be honest? Or you just want me to tell you?
No, you're gonna say no.
No, like
Izzy would probably.
You want my honest opinion? I would like. What I can tell you is, that sounds cool. I might want to watch that sometime. What's actually going to happen is I'm going to go home. I'm going to be pissed tired. I'm going to put on a stupid Family Guy episode, and then I'm going to fall asleep.
Me and Anton were talking about you and how much you love cartoons, and I was like,
I fucking love cartoons.
It's all Billy fucking watches these goddamn cartoons.
No, I just like things that make me laugh. That's all it is.
Man, I watch horror movies on mushrooms, and it's so fucking fun.
I'm sure it would be from like time to time, but it's just not what I'm going to do every night when I go home.
Hocus Pocus is a comedy kind of. It's fun, man.
I want
to laugh. Classic.
I want to laugh.
Hocus Pocus is a classic. It always blew my mind that Billy's never seen it. Now number 2 is coming out, which
okay.
Maybe Midler is not a fan.
Maybe if there's a number 2, maybe I'll have to just watch number 2 and not number 1.
It's like, you'll know what's going on. It's gonna be a news story. But it's weird. So they ring the church bell. And anyone who hears
these ballsy motherfuckers.
Okay, get this though. And they go to the church, and usually, usually vampires. We know the folklore, right? They can't be in the sun. They have to drink blood to essentially stay alive, or they wither away. Sometimes there's crosses, but sometimes there's not. Like there's some vampire folklore where you can use a cross against them. Sometimes
garlic.
Or eat garlic. And this one seems like where it's the opposite. Where I've heard before in vampire folklore is that religious symbols do nothing to them. They're just a curse. Cursed by God.
I bet I know where those came from in the first place.
What?
The religious symbols and the garlic was a Christian mom that sucked at cooking, and her kids kept complaining, and she goes,
put garlic
"Stop complaining. It keeps the vampires away." It's probably what happened.
What are you, drunk? Drunk enough to kick your
It's
ass?
probably what happened. If you think about it, probably. Maybe.
Okay, so as they ring this bell, you know what the craziest part of this is?
What's that?
Anyone who hears the bell ring will die within the year.
Way to petrify people. You're not giving them it's not a week. Yeah. It's not a month. It's not 6 months. You're like, 364 days from now. You heard that?
It doesn't say when this happens, because you think about it, when people hear the church bells, usually back in the day, if you're thinking about a religious town and everyone just starts to zombie walking to the fucking church, they gotta go pray to God today, or fucking I look like an outcast and they burn me on the fucking stake.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So you hear the bell, and to you, just people outside should be comforting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Something of comfort. That it's just I'm going to go to church. I'm going to fucking pray about how my grandma has cancer and hopefully God does anything about it, but probably won't. That old fucking chestnut. fucked. So there are 2 signs which indicate a person's predisposition towards vampirism, both of which occur at birth. Babies who are born with a caul, a cap placement membrane on their heads. So if you see a baby with like a little membrane, I would assume like a little kind of bump on their fucking forehead, just toss that thing as hard as you can at a wall because it might be a vampire.
Don't get caught. That's probably the next piece of advice to say that.
Yeah, they're believed, and this is crazy. They're believed to transform into a vampire called the Vajeski. And I looked up this shit, and this is like so far back in folklore that I couldn't find like the only video I could even find on YouTube about the Vajeska, because it's spelled VJESCI. I tried, and I searched everywhere for the pronunciation, and as far as I
wonder
can tell,
if
it's
V
Vajeska.
is. I wonder if V is silent. It's just
no, it's Vajeska. I looked up and I found the pronunciation because it is an old Polish word, but the only videos I found on like YouTube was one, like it had like 10 views, and this woman like, I'm gonna talk to you about vampires and the folklore surrounding it. It's just like a woman in her office talking about fucking vampires, some fucking middle-aged white lady that probably has blue hair. But
yeah, I bet she's stupid.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Billy's just assuming everybody now. So babies who
she's trans fat.
This is also weird because this
no, you didn't like that.
Yeah,
okay.
Fucking, this is also weird too. So babies who are born with 2 teeth, that's kind of funny because even it doesn't have to be necessarily the vampire teeth. Also throw the baby at the wall.
Just 2 teeth randomly.
Yeah, I'm sure babies aren't born with ever. With sometimes they are though.
They get teeth.
Yes, there are some babies that are born with hair, and there's
I know babies that are born with hair. Most babies are born with hair.
I feel like if your baby's born with teeth, you should have probably not took your yearly injections.
I have never heard that in my life.
Me neither. I'm trying to think. I was like, maybe.
I don't think that's a thing. Don't quote me. I'm not a fucking doctor.
Quote me.
I'm pretty confident that's not a thing.
You know what? Anybody can fucking deliver a baby. You just push it and let it slide out. And hopefully the fucking cord doesn't wrap around through.
Yeah, apparently it's easy. Tom says giving birth is easy.
I know. I'm not saying that. Okay, never mind. I was gonna go into a fucking rant about people
giving birth.
No, yeah.
Hey, they say it's hard.
Not that, no, the other side. No, just never mind.
Wait, I want to hear it now. Go ahead.
That there are something that they're necessarily not because they'll never understand what it's like to be that specific person or persons that exist.
Are you talking about like
society.
the abortion laws?
No, not that even. Just like the fucking, I don't know.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The fucking trans community and how like how some people are like, hey, you can. There is trans people that have came out and said, it's okay. I'm never gonna understand what it's like to be a man when they're like a woman to a man or a female to a man. Same, when they change their genders, right? Okay. The thing is, I thought about this before too. It's just like, okay, you can. Claim and identify with whatever you want. I have nothing against you. I don't care what people do with their bodies. So there's a million fucking times. But when they're like, you have to call me by my proper pronouns and all that type of bullshit, I don't get behind that. I respect people and I respect human beings, especially doing psychedelics. But you'll never know what it's like to have a period every fucking month. You won't know what it's like to fucking give birth. Like you can't claim to actually feel like you're a woman if you're not having a fucking period every month.
You want me to save this for you?
Jeez.
Tom's intentions are there. His words weren't.
Yeah.
I've known him for a long time. Let's just leave it at that. Yes. His intentions weren't that harmful.
No,
but the way he said that,
yes,
I understand.
And
anyways,
me and
carry on.
Have plenty of conversations about this stuff.
The way you delivered that wasn't the best delivery.
No, it's not. And the thing is, you know what? And I say this time and time again, and people probably beating a dead horse, but psychedelics have changed my life, and I fully believe in just loving people and caring about everybody else. They have their own plight. Everyone has their shit going on. Everyone's got stuff going on, especially when you're a fucking vampire, because you can't every person that you love, you just want to fucking bite their neck off.
Yeah, just bite them. Fuck them.
Just fuck them.
Fuck them dead.
While we're on this subject, would you want to be a vampire if you had the opportunity?
I think probably. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, you know what? I kind of want to be a vampire.
Just because you can live forever, you're not going to die. You're immortal. Even you claim you're immortal, but you don't.
I am immortal.
And that's the fear too when it comes to vampire.
Why do you think I wanted to be on the vampire episode?
Yeah. It's just like
he don't know. You know how like they say they have fangs?
Yeah.
That's actually a misconception. The real vampires are missing front teeth.
But I'm saying that, like, you know, it would be, you know, it's, I think this also comes from like a fear of death, right? The whole folklore, because you don't grow old.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You kind of just live and you live forever, but you just need to essentially drink human blood. So you know what? You go fucking to Vancouver, all right, and you go to the Skid Row in Vancouver, and look, you have a massive buffet. I'm just joking. The people that are going through that shit is horrible, but yeah, there's. You'd have to pick I don't know. It's society. Who do you pick if you're a vampire? You have to choose people that essentially, like serial killers do, wouldn't be fucking missed.
I would pick every male on the planet, and I would be the only one left.
And then, but can you have kids as a vampire? I've never heard of that.
I'm not worried about kids.
So it's just females and Billy.
Hey, I might have like one like little like I'll have like a sperm bank like
about
a bunch of girls milking the guys.
What about the trans
sperm?
People?
Why does that keep?
I'm just asking but they're technically a female to man or male to female.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Every male's dead and every ugly female's dead. If you're a hot trans person, you get to live.
That's so fucked. Oh man! All right, we can't get any lower than this. So. Which is crazy. So these vampires, the Vajeskas, right? You have to look out for this stuff, right? The weird normalities, them being born with 2 teeth. On the other hand,
don't look out for this.
They are said to turn into a whoopgee. There's no difference.
Oh, them good old whoopgees.
There's no difference between a Vajeski and a whoopgee aside from they have omens that supposedly which they betray that they're sinister. They have sinister nature about them. There's no fucking really difference. So in the culture, it's essentially there's the whoopgee and there's the fucking Vajeski.
The Bloods and the Crips.
Yeah, kind of.
Boy.
There is only one method by which people are destined to become the Vajeski. They can be prevented from completing their macabre metamorphosis. The placement of a cap that they wore as babies might be dried and ground into paper. Oh, so the thing that was the ailment on their forehead, that sort of cap that they would have on their head, essentially you cut it off. I don't know how they would do that, but you take it off and you ground it into powder, right? Okay. And
are we talking like a tumor? Is that when you say thing on your head?
It says babies who are born with a cull, a cap, a placenta membrane, placentan membrane. I don't know what the fuck. I looked it up. What is that?
It's okay. So, but yeah, it's pushed out of your skull. It's protruding out of your skull
because it's a membrane. It can't be. Oh, is it a placenta?
Why is the placenta in his skull?
Placentas don't have membranes, do they?
Yes.
Placenta membrane is where the mother and fetus exchange gases and nutrients. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm an idiot. I thought it was something to do with your brain because it said membrane.
Oh my fucking god! I'm trying to understand how this gets in someone's skull.
So it's someone who is born with a fucking weird ass
tumor, almost
a placement of the membrane over their head. So the kind of like the thing is wrapped around. Like the placenta is like on their head as the mother gives birth.
Okay, I thought you said it was a part of them.
I thought it said placement and it said placental membrane. I'm also like, I'm dosed up, so things are gonna get.
I'm very confused as to what part I need to be looking out for when I scale the hospitals this evening.
Babies who are born, it says with a cull or a cap. That's why I thought that it was.
Oh, a cap. Oh, okay. So it's just like so they pushed out the placenta with them.
Yeah.
And it was just on their head. They're still fine. Okay. Yeah. The whole time that you're describing this sounded like a fucking tumor.
That's what I thought
on their forehead.
That's what I thought.
And then you just cut it off.
That's what I literally thought. So wow, things you learn.
Holy fuck.
Okay, everyone be careful when you microdose because you might mix up a lot of shit. So these babies
it's not microdosing when you fucking take a lot.
Yeah, it's true. I took
it's just
pills.
called dosing.
Yeah.
It's called doing drugs.
It's not a drug. It is found within nature. We've been using them for thousands of fucking centuries.
So is fucking caffeine's a drug. That's coffee bean.
Yeah, but coffee beans haven't existed as long as mushrooms have.
I'm sure weeds existed pretty much.
I don't know about that, man. Our evolution could be because of the mushroom, because the monkeys ate the mushrooms and allowed the brain cells to grow. It's called the stone ape theory.
Is that a theory?
Yeah, it's a fucking
I'd love
theory.
to listen to that. I'm very curious.
Everyone that is interested, even kind of interested by mushrooms, look up Paul Stamets. Both of his episodes on fucking Joe Rogan blew my fucking mind.
Was that his ape theory?
No, it's not his theory. It's not even his theory, but they talk about it. It's Terrence McKenna's theory. Someone else who was a prominent person in the thing of psychedelics. And I could be completely wrong for people that are like, it wasn't Terrence McKenna, it was fucking David. Like, it could be someone else.
David, like you were gonna say.
I was gonna say fucking it's so people get things mixed up. I'm just getting into all of this stuff, so don't fucking crucify me. Unless I'm
just happy we painted the picture here because I'm just assuming we're hacking fucking tumors off babies' faces.
All right, my bad, everybody. Fucking just go with the flow, okay? So it would have to be essentially the placenta would have to be dried into powder, and on the future Vajiska's 7th birthday.
Every time you say that, it just sounds like you're gonna say vagina.
The vampire's birthday, the powder must be slipped into his or her, or they. Food or drink and consumed. And so it's just like I feel like, oh, we got to be careful. I don't care. But essentially, so it's slipped into there so they can drink it on their 7th birthday, and then it means that they won't turn into a vampire.
7 years old is the difference.
The cutoff date is like
we're not making vampires. Don't make any 5-year-olds. There's got to be some pedophilic vampires out there fucking biting 5-year-olds.
Well, maybe that'd be fucked. And then, no, what's crazy?
Not the craziest fucking thing I've heard.
Okay, if it is like the interview with the vampire, and we keep getting into tangents, but essentially, if a vampire, because it's a weird thing to think about. If you live forever, so if you bite and they stay young, they had it in Interview with a Vampire. She was 11. So if you were 5, it would be a 5-year-old that could live for hundreds of years.
Oh my god, his muscles would be so underdeveloped. I know. You couldn't do anything.
You'd have the maturity of a fucking 80-year-old man with all these wisdoms, or a fucking 700-year-old man or woman or whatever.
It's like, fuck you, bitch, I kick you in the teeth. You can't even tell anybody your wisdoms.
I know. It's just like,
people are just gonna beat the fuck out of you.
So although the vampire, the Vajiski, I'm just gonna call him a vampire, okay, but that all because it is a vampire. So although the vampire can be cured of their infliction in this manner, people born with the 2 teeth will eventually become vampires once they die, which is fucked. So the ones that are born with the 2 teeth, you could live a full happy life as a human, and then they bury you at fucking 80 years old, or back then, when this was coming into place in this folklore, maybe like fucking 40 or 50, and then you're just like laying in your grave. You don't really breathing in because you're fucking dead, and you just like wake up, and then you're fucking a vampire.
So I don't need oxygen anymore. That's nice. Wow. We're killing the planet anyway.
Yeah, that's what they say, but I don't believe it. And then,
oh my god,
if they're gonna penalize everyone look towards China. Look towards China.
That was the most conservative thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
they say pollution's bad, but I mean, we've been doing it for like 30 years now. Seems fine to me.
You can't track the fucking rate. You should listen a little more to Jordan Peterson and people who are intellectuals, because they can't track properly how we are polluting the planet. We want to penalize Canada and the United States, but nobody looks at China and the fact that they can't breathe over there.
I didn't say that they were tracking it correctly. I said we are ruining the planet.
Yeah, Billy's going to move to China, and he's going to take down the Chinese government.
Anywhere.
Billy's taking down the Chinese government. You heard it today.
Don't say that. I already deleted TikTok. They already have my info.
Okay, so they could. So yeah, they could. It's fucking crazy. So either way, you're turning into a fucking vampire. Okay. Fortunately, there are several techniques which are effectively. They can prevent the wupji and the uncured vajiski from rising from the graves.
Those are both vagina names.
Yeah, wupji. I'm gonna go fucking lick my girlfriend's wupji.
Oh, I'm gonna say that tonight.
Or the
I bet you,
vajiski.
you could say anything you want in the right context.
Yeah, for sure.
And just go like look at the girlfriend, and just be like, me and you're fucking snuffleupagus, or you're fucking
people call that their dicks.
It's gonna be a vagina the way I say it.
It's all about context.
You're oh baby, give me that wet t-shirt. Like,
today,
you say anything you fucking want, and they're like, what do you want?
Yeah, because words don't matter anymore.
Words don't mean anything.
It's fucking true. We just created them and started saying them.
What happened to sticks and stones can break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Yeah, I agree.
Now it's like words are a weapon.
Dude, that's extremely correct. I'm like that you pointed that out. But so there is ways you can carry out to essentially stop them from their grisly work. Mm-hmm. Pouring sand into the corpse's coffin will prevent the vampire from resurrecting for many years.
But you'll still get out eventually.
Get this. It will stop the vampire from resurrecting for as many years as they are grains of sand. That's fucking so okay, think of like maybe Egyptian times, whatever the fuck that was, the fucking 3000 fucking BC or whatever, right? And then it's how many grains of sand. So they wake up in like 2025 and they're like,
I really like
what happened?
There's much more than 5,000 grains of sand.
It's fucking like
how much like in a handful of sand?
Yeah.
It's got to be like at least 40,000 to 100,000 grains.
So you would wake up like in the future, like the future, or the place just destroyed.
Yeah, you'd wake up in nothing.
Yeah, you might wake up and there was like a nuclear disaster.
You'll never wake up.
You don't think so?
No.
Think the planet will be dead by then?
100%. I just said a handful.
What if some aliens come in, they heal the planet after we're all fucking dead, and then this one guy survived and he's like a vampire? He's like, what happened?
And then he starts factories and cars again. And then he just restarts
the whole thing over. It's like the aliens are looking back, like, and they're like up in their space.
We just fucking fix this.
We got rid of this ingrates and these people that don't know their identities. The vampire cannot rise until it has counted every grain of sand, every grain. So you can rise, but you have to sit there. But how do you create piles then? If you have to count every one, how do you know that that last one that you count is not the same one that you counted? You know what I mean?
You have to break it up into a bunch of piles and work left to right.
Oh my God, that would take you forever. And you're in a coffin, buried by sand. So it's like 1, 2, 3, fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 17 million, 17, 8. Fuck. It's just like,
and then it all falls on you, and you're like,
motherfucker.
Was that their what's it called? Hypothesis as to how long it would take you to count that is technically you'd probably count 1 grain per year. It does say
the speed at which it counts rarely exceeds 1 grain per year. It's similar to placing a fishnet inside of the coffin will prevent the vampire from rising as many years as there is knots. It must untie every knot before leaving its tomb.
Oh, that's way easier.
This folklore of these Polish people really thought it out.
Way fucking easier. Give me a fishnet. I'll take a fishnet all day before I'm counting grains of sand.
Way back in the day, we first started this podcast. My buddy Mike Belowski was on this. That's Belowski, Polish name.
Yeah,
he's Polish. And I'd be like, bro, do you know how fucking deep some of your folklore goes? Like in the Polish Kashubians or cashews or whatever the fuck they are. Fucking weird. Another tactic involves placing the corpse face down in its casket, so it has to claw deeper into the earth than to turn up out of the grave. So, and I've heard this before, and if Billy wants to read this.
Oh, they put a cage around it and everything. So this is the grave from the Victorian age, when a fear of zombies and vampires was prevalent. The cage was intended to trap the undead just in case the corpse reanimated.
The same way, you remember how they have the bells and the little like peephole when like they would bury people just to make sure they weren't, because at the time,
Well, the bells saved a lot of fucking
the
lives.
fucking old man's like,
we saved so many fucking lives doing that. And think of that though too. Like now, there's such little stupid things to realize that someone's still alive.
I know.
Like a pulse. That's a good
Back
fucking
then,
attribute.
They're
just like, oh, you aren't moving. Dead, I guess.
Dead. You just fainted. You're dead. I
guess.
guess.
It's like that's it. He's gone. Like they never thought to check a heartbeat. That's a big one.
That did happen. That did happen. A lot too. And that is a weird thing. The thing is, this is legit.
No, but that whole idea of like turning the fucking vampire over. Okay, so you're saying
this is real grave sites, and for the audio listeners, we're showing pictures of grave sites,
just like encased in like metal,
encased in metal, because there was a time in the Victorian era where they had these weird folklore beliefs where they thought that if in case, and the thing is, it might have been someone who was, say, a serial killer or something like that, where they thought that you would arise from the grave because maybe you were murdering children and you were fucking drinking blood or something.
They didn't have cremation back then.
They didn't do it. I don't know. I think it was a religious thing. A lot of things was based on religion. And
well, if you're fucking that scared he's coming back, just fucking cremate him. Anyways, my whole biggest thing was that with that one sentence you said of putting the vampire upside down,
so they have to dig their way.
So he'll dig down. So what you're telling me is you're terrified of this thing coming back to life, and being a danger to society, but you also think this thing is so dumb that it can't just flip over. That's a very minor way to look at it. You think after, even if he thought that was up, you think after like, let's say 40 feet, he goes like, all right, maybe it was the other way.
Yeah, I know, because eventually it's like a baby, you could roll yourself over even if you're encased with dirt. It would take time, but if you're alive and you're able to just dig caverns,
just one fucking grain of sand at a time.
I wonder if a vampire ever saw like a fucking mole or something. Like, I was like, excuse me,
can you help me? Actually, can you fucking just start digging? Just keep going that way.
He bites the groundhog.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck you.
And then the groundhog becomes a vampire. And then they work together. Because vampires.
No, he's too hungry at that point. He hasn't eaten in forever.
Dogs, or they have companions. Vampires
do not turn to dogs.
Yes, they do.
No, dogs are good boys, and they're not vampires.
Man, black fucking dogs. Yes, it is.
Dogs are good boys, and they're not vampires.
Jesus, Billy, you and your fucking love for dogs. But I also watched, which I think you would really like this film. The one with Johnny Depp. And what can I think of this?
Probably had a mega pint of wine with him.
Oh yeah, at least he didn't fucking shit on somebody's bed.
That is the funniest fuck you I've ever heard in my life.
I know.
I want to do it. I want to shit on someone's bed now.
I just watched this, and the funny thing is, as soon as like getting dosed up is different than smoking weed. Oh, Dark Shadows, and
I think I've heard of that.
Dark Shadows is actually a really good film, and it's very good with the vampire folklore. Like he gets buried and he comes back in the 60s when this is, and he doesn't know what the shit is. We have a lava lamp in the background while we're filming, and he's like, "What is that?" And he's like staring at it, and that blonde chick, what's her name? Chloe Moore, whatever. She's in this film, and he's like staring at the lava lamp, doesn't know what the fuck it is. And she's like, it's a lamp, man. And he's like, it looks like a pulsating blood vessel, because he's a vampire.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it is very comical. It's a very good film. Because I'm watching so much vampire shit. I feel like that's why we're getting.
What is the one? Night in the Dark, Shadows in the Dark. What is the one?
Oh, the TV show?
No, the fucking movie that we watched.
Oh, there's a TV show, and it's even better.
Okay, I know, but what is it called?
Good.
Shadows in the Dark? Is that what it's called?
It's called. Man, I fucking.
What is it fucking called? It's driving me nuts.
No, give me a second.
A Night in the Shadows. Shadows in the Night.
Oh, what can I think of this, man?
It's the one with the Flight of the Conchords. It's the only one I've ever watched.
What we do in the shadows. And the thing is, the same writer, right? They came back and they've done a show recently, and it is fucking awesome. That's so
the fucking
funny.
Flight of the Conchords actors that I like so much.
They're not in it, but they wrote it.
Yeah,
they helped
they're
write
great,
it, and
man.
it's now a
They're
show.
hilarious.
It's very funny. They actually for everybody, there's different types of vampires, right? There's a psychic vampire, okay, and it's this hilarious fucking comedic actor. I'm not gonna remember his name right now because I'm fucking dosed up. But like, it's very funny where he's a psychic vampire. So he like one of those really boring people, and he sucks your energy. So he like works in an office space where everyone is already depressed. So he's sucking up all that bad energy. If you like comedy stuff, but it's a mix with horror, it's on Disney all the seasons.
That being said, I feel like we barely touched anything.
So
how far?
It's a very short episode. It's not that. Yeah, I put it in huge lettering. You see,
cool.
That's why we have a little banter on this one because
we're already an hour in, but
yeah, there's a lot. There's not a lot to this, but there's enough. But it's just because I'm stuck in this thing of vampires because vampires are such a big thing. But you would enjoy what we do in the Shadows of the Show. The psychic vampire thing is very funny.
Yeah,
because he's in office space and he like afterwards are just like slumped over and like depressed and it's like, what do you want to do today? And then it's like, and he sucks.
I don't want to
work. So all these things they have to do to essentially stop the vampire from actually rising from the grave. So all these precautions they have to be taken. You can also, they have to be taken. Fuck off. A more permanent solution is to place a small cross made of polar.
You didn't see that.
Polar. What? Did you snap with your tooth? You're gonna break your fake tooth.
I can't get my finger under there sometimes.
I can't get my finger. So a permanent solution is placing a cross made of polar wood inside the coffin, sometimes under the corpse's tongue. Strange. Polar crosses appear to be Canadian substitution for the Rosicrucianary, the rose crucifix. You know, the ball of rose.
Nice.
The rosary crucifix.
That was a lovely explanation of that. I loved it.
Essentially, instead of having like the rosary, it's another kind of cross. It's a substitution for rosary crucifixes, which every bead is like Christ's tear.
So this one's just wood under a tongue.
Yeah,
good enough.
Which the European Kashubs place under the tongues of their own suspected vampires. I guess when they die, so they don't arise, which is creepy. You think like sweet old little granny, but like, I don't know.
Granny had a fucking temper, and damn, did she drink?
Yeah,
I don't fucking trust this bitch.
So, if none of these precautions are taken before the vampire is buried, there is one recourse. Someone must be exhumed. They must exhume the vampire at midnight and either drive a long nail into their forehead or decapitate the corpse with a shovel. Woo! Like Evil Dead shit. Because Ash and Evil Dead always comes in with the fucking.
That's so fucked.
So you come in, you fucking place the fucking shovel, and you fucking cut off their head.
That's so fucked up.
Or place its head between its feet. Oh, and after you cut off its head, you place it at its feet. It's fucking weird. People who attempt this gruesome procedure will often open the coffin to find the vampire sitting upright with his eyes open, looking around wildly and stammering unintelligible words. According to their folklore, if this ever happened, of course it'd be scary because guess what? It was probably someone you buried alive, and then they're like, oxygen, and then they like go looking around confused, and then you cut off their head.
Nice.
Very, very sad. It's fucking sad that they're doing this to people that are probably just fucking buried alive. The Kashubs of Wilno, Ontario, had resorted to this hideous measure on more than one occasion. In the Polish, the Polish informant said. So he was a Polish informant.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. It's just like, okay,
it's telling the government what the other countries are doing.
I'm kind of Polish, but like yeah.
Or he wasn't Polish at all, but he was just ratting out to the Polish government. He was like, hey, China's over here doing this. By the way, they're going to bomb you.
I don't know.
He would have fucking did really well when Hitler was around.
What is a Polish accent?
No? Cool.
Oh, that's funny.
No, you didn't like that?
What is a Polish accent, though?
I can't do one.
Okay.
I know where to pull it. I can hear it in my head, but there is no fucking way that's gonna come out of my mouth.
There was a lot of
not even fucking close.
There was a lot of
that's
that
a hard one because you can't even like
Will.
racially do it. Like it's not like a chimichong. Anyways,
I've had a few drinks. You might want to buckle up.
That's disgusting.
you got that's disgusting as a button.
Oh yeah.
That's disgusting.
So there was a lot of. It's funny how Billy remembers nothing. There was a lot.
You did that before?
Yeah.
I don't remember you ever doing that with me.
So there was a lot of that at the Will Know in their graves, in Ontario. It's according to this informant. This is his quotes. They opened the graves and they cut off the heads. When they died, they were born vampires. When they died and when they were born vampires. Are not seen to.
That was good. That was really good English, actually.
Then they dig up the graves. First, he carries.
I want you to stop right there. I'm gonna almost try to transcribe this to you. Then they were born, dead, but before born vampires. Then they dig up the grave.
Shut the fuck up. It says when they die or were born vampires or not seen to die, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Then they dig up the graves.
All right.
First, he carries off his relatives, and then as far as the bell rings, so anyone that he'll, I guess, carry away anyone that hears the bell ring, because it's I don't know how old.
I don't know how you know that they heard it either.
It's a fucking Polish person with horrible English. It happened at Will Know.
I think they
have dug up many, but it was not told. Relevant? They had to dig up and cut off the heads while he sat up in his coffin. That's fucking sad.
Like a fucking 14-year-old right
Okay, and we said it's we've done the Kashubs. Okay, that is a fucking weird folklore.
All right, what's the next one?
The Vampire Bride of Niagara Parkway.
Ooh.
The Vampire Bride of Niagara Parkway. The Niagara Parkway is one of the oldest roads in Ontario. Centuries ago, it was a game trail used by members of neutral confederations and the First Nations. Okay, which were they were wiped out by warlike. So they were wiped out by the Iroquois in the 17th century. So they were a neutral confederation, essentially, and then they were wiped out by the warlike, so they were killed by other indigenous people. So they
had their own gangs going on,
and that happened, and not till the first, and when the Six Nations got created, was essentially because all the different nations realized they got to stop warring with each other because a bunch of white dudes are coming, and we have to fucking fix our problems because we have problems with these dudes. Essentially, what I took from the Secret History of fucking America by fucking Manly P. Hall, which Juan loves Manly P. Hall for some strange reason. But he is very interesting. In the late 1700s, the British Army turned this game trail into a public road connecting Fort Erie. And it explains what Fort Erie is, a British military outpost off the shores of Lake Erie with Fort George. So all these forts are being erected because they have to worry about war.
Oh, they're all fucking getting horny.
With the future headquarters of the British Army in Upper Canada. Because if you don't know how Canada was established, obviously the British came in and they fucking took over. And we are technically still owned by the British. It is.
Oh, you're gonna say by the Queen, but not technically anymore.
No.
That was to be. That was actually what I was gonna say on this too. So I was out in Boston Pizza when I found out that the Queen did die. It was like late that night, and I was going to visit at work, and there's a bunch of people there or whatever, and they're talking about it. I was like, oh shit,
hetero life mate.
And is came up just like, what does Tom think about all this? I was like, I haven't even looked because like I don't open social media anymore. And the very first fucking thing I see, and it was the ding dong bitch is dead, good riddance. I fucking died. I showed everybody at the bar.
That's good. And you should have saw when I posted on Facebook, because I'm on Facebook often, all these people were posting memes of like, there's like Diana, let me in. It's this old lady rattling against like a fucking cage.
I love that.
Like all the memes that people were posting, man, I love that. It was fucking very funny because I was like, I gotta post this. I constantly talk about reptilians. I constantly talk about the reptile queen. And Izzy, I wanted her to do that because Izzy's very good at art and painting. I wanted her to do like a reptilian queen. That was the plan, like to do like a little art.
She's talked to me a couple times about that. She's like, look, like I got to put a lot of time and effort into these paintings, and I just don't know how long I want to stare at a reptile queen.
Well, she could have it displayed in the studio. There's still room inside these walls, so if she wants to give me some,
maybe I'll get you like a little guy. Okay. It'll be a little guy. It won't be like a fucking.
Yeah, no, we're almost running out of space, but yeah, if she wants to do a little art, even it doesn't have to do that. Anything alien or just you as a reptilian would be kind of fun. That would be hilarious.
That actually would be pretty fun. I'm sure she'd actually enjoy doing that.
Can she make you into a gray alien? Come on, you know how awesome that would be for a little thing right here on the.
I don't fucking care how awesome that would be. I would not.
Like, please, can you? If you make Billy a gray alien, all the fans will love it.
You can fight the fans. You and her can fuck themselves.
Yeah, but think about it. We've talked about you being a great alien numerous times. Even Anton laughed when we did that one episode that if you're going to be an alien, you would be a gray.
Yeah, it's fair.
So come on, it'd be hilarious. Anyway, so they're building all these forts. Obviously, the turn of the century, like the British are coming over, and so the future headquarters. Oh, my fucking email's popping up. Reason. The future headquarters of the British Army in Upper Canada, situated near the shores of Lake Ontario. Due to its strategic importance, the highway became one of obviously a primary. Like a frontier during the War of 1812. You know what happened in 1812, Americans? You piece of shit. Sorry, we have so many Americans.
You didn't win.
No, we burned down the White House. You didn't win, Billy. They won in the way they should have won.
Just joking. I just like stirring shit.
A conflict fought between British Canada and the United States, obviously, and this would eventually get very close to the Civil War. So, and at that time, around the 1800s, a lot of wars broke out. You know, everyone was fighting over land.
Everyone thought they were fucking top shit.
And according to the local legend, the bridge is haunted by a ghostly woman in white who appears to travelers at night. I like that. It rhymed. Usually between midnight and 3 a.m. The apparition is said to be clothed in a ragged white gown, to have a long flowing black hair, and to have deathly pale complexion, and to act as if she is looking for something along the creek bank. Such a sight would be alarming enough for unsuspecting night travelers. But what makes the specter truly terrifying, however, is the bright red that drips from her mouth. Spatter the front of her gown. So she has
fucking backwards period blood.
Jesus Christ.
Nailed it.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. What has happened to Billy?
That's Billy. I heard it's retarded.
So, like, she has blood pouring from her mouth, and there's blood for the people that have seen her in Niagara at this fucking parkway. And okay, you're fucking, even if some reason this apparition does still exist within the psyche and the consciousness of this existence or whatever the fuck we are. It's like you're driving down the road and you fucking see this. Like, okay, around Halloween, I'm like, okay, weird. That's fucking strange. Just fucking.
That's a pretty impressive fucking motherfucker.
Dressed up.
Oh, it's like those fucking clowns that were going around.
Oh yeah, I know, man. I was listening actually because I've been trailing back to older episodes. Which ones should be Lost Tapes episodes?
We talked about that when it was happening, didn't we?
Yeah, around the time, and it was happening in Canada and all over with these clowns. I would actually like to go back into clowns.
It's actually fucking hilarious. Okay. The only thing that wasn't funny is that some people actually did die. Because people were using that as a scapegoat to genuinely fucking kill people, which was terrifying. If it was all a joke to everybody, that would have been fucking hilarious.
I feel like, at least for when we eventually dive into John Wayne Gacy, I feel like we should do it with all three of us, because he's the clown killer, and that's case is fucked. And we have some very fucked up.
Can't trust them fucking guy. They fit too many people into one car.
Why is
trust that?
So it is weird. So people see her with blood on her gown, blood dripping from her mouth. Doubtless, like obviously people are thinking that it's inspired by the seductive vampire minions of Bram Stoker's Count Dracula. Locals have nicknamed this figure the Vampire Bride. Wah, wah, wah. Come on.
That sounds like a whore. It sounds like you're the bride to every single vampire.
I know, and I've watched so many fucking vampire movies recently. I actually read Bram Stoker's Dracula too, most of it. I was at the cottage. I read through it, and I was like, and then I also watched fucking Bram Stoker's Dracula. I've watched so many Dracula movies in preparation for fucking First Class Horror, and then I'm like, I don't think Aaron or fucking Anton have even watched like a couple of them. I've probably watched like 7 vampire movies by now, and more is to come.
You should get a life.
I have a life. I got a new job, so
just
good. I got another new job.
You got another new job?
We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. I gotta get my 2 weeks. That's fucking Monday.
Oh, fuck.
So the nickname of the Vampire Bride. According to this story, though, while the woman's husband was away at war, an epidemic of tuberculosis swept through the Niagara region. Tragically, the disease took the life of the woman's newborn baby. In order to prevent further, I guess you could say, sickness from spreading to her from her baby, a well-meaning doctor plucked the baby's tiny body from the arms of the grieving mother and prominently cremated it.
Ooh.
So during this time, that's when we're like, okay, can't bury him in the ground because sickness, maybe even they don't know how it spreads. Doctors are very stupid back then.
I could see the correlations. Like, that's our earth. Those are roots.
This is
can't put sick fucking people in that.
And this is a time, right? And me and Anton talked about when we talked about the strange mysteries and hauntings of the Civil War, which one of my very funny, great episode that we did. Okay. And it was very hilarious. We did a whole skit of what it would have been like in the Civil War. But the thing is, right, that they didn't wash their hands.
Yeah.
They didn't figure that halfway through the Civil War, they're like, maybe we should like wash our hands and like maybe like sterilize our saws that we're cutting this dude's leg off with. Like, they didn't know about that shit. And then they started figuring stuff out. And it's crazy. You know, and you can look at Egyptian times and how they were more advanced, but the fact that in our history, for a long time, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Still kind of don't know what the fuck we're doing.
It's like, go inject yourself with some foreign object. When she learned what had become of her child corpse, the mother fell into a deep depression, utterly distraught. With no one there, nothing to comfort her. Her health began to deteriorate, and soon she contracted the same illness that had taken her baby's life. For several long months, tuberculosis, TB, wrecked her body. She developed a chronic fever, turned ghostly pale, and began to cough up blood. The consumption is what they called it, because it would consume your bodies. Yeah, it is disgusting. I'm not gonna fucking look for it.
I know where it is.
No, you don't. No, you're going. Don't do anything.
You fucked up. You press something.
It's things.
Oh, whoops.
It's arrows, bro. It's arrows.
That was an arrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not listening to you. You're crazy.
Stupid. That's the next one. That's the next one I want. Stupid.
Stupid. Yeah, I know. So obviously, with doctors back then, they determined that what the disease was taking her over, it ate away her body, transforming her into gaunt, hollow-eyed shadow of her former self. By the time her husband finally returned home, oh man, the woman was on her deathbed. So you're coming back from the war. You survived the war between fucking the British and the Americans.
And what you solidified before the war.
Yeah, you had your kid.
You fucking you fucking solidified your life.
Yeah, you have your baby, you have your kid, and then we're fucking and then she comes back. Oh man, that's fucking nuts. And then she's on her fucking deathbed. And it's just like, well,
how's your flask turning out?
It's good. I like it.
Not bad, eh?
It's cranberry cherry juice, which I thought would look the most.
Yo, that sounds fucking amazing. Can I actually try that?
Yes, please.
I hate cranberry, but cherry sounds awesome.
So when the woman finally passed away,
that's fucking awesome.
Cranberry juice and vodka is good, man.
No, that's the cherry. I don't like cranberry, but that is fucking awesome. I would get so splashed.
Be careful, there might be rye programs out tonight.
Oh, I'm not drinking that.
Yeah, it's true. Beer doesn't cause that. So when the poor woman finally,
Beer's not even alcohol.
Yeah, when the poor woman finally passed away, her husband wrapped her body in a white sheet and brought her on horseback to the bridge over the Black Creek, one of the most beautiful spots on the Riverside Highway. There, not far from the Niagara River, he buried his wife. I thought he just like kicked her off the fucking edge. It's like, fuck it.
Fuck you, bitch.
According to the version of this legend, the ghost of the young woman appears from time to time around the vicinity of her resting place, searching for the child she had lost. Her pale skin and the bloodstains and her in the mouth, the blood dripping from her mouth and chest, does not indicate vampirism.
I don't. That's okay. I understand what you're saying, but that's got to be a made-up word.
Vampirism is a real word. That's it is.
Like I understand what it means.
It means sucking blood.
From like being a vampire would be vampirism.
Yeah, vampirism. But like, okay,
there's no fucking way that's a real word.
It is.
I want to see that in the dictionary.
Coming up in November, me and Anton are talking about a serial killer that ripped out the fucking Adam's apple of people. And that would be considered vampirism because he's biting into somebody's neck and drinking their blood, so to speak.
That's weird. It's weird to me. That's weird that we come up with a lot of
words.
Well,
it's weird how long vampires have existed in our society, in our consciousness, right? Because as soon as you start fucking doing mushrooms, nothing is real anymore. You start to see through the fucking matrix. It's unbelievable. I've thought things and seen things that
I wish I had a tally.
Yeah.
I miss those days. I used to have my tallies. You remember those days?
Yes,
I had a little notebook and it'd sit right here and I wouldn't tell anybody. And I just like start doing ticks every time Tom said a certain thing. I'd end up be like, you said that 26 times.
And there was times where Billy actually wrote out stuff where he'd be like, okay, I found this. And the thing is, you do what I did as old school research, where now I put on my laptop, where Billy would write out points he would have. At the beginning of the podcast, I had a notebook where I was like, we're going to talk about this. And I was like, why do I spend my time writing on a piece of fucking paper? But I could just like essentially.
Well, I like it because when you write something out, it takes longer. And I feel like I absorb it more.
Yeah, that's what they take.
If I just type it, I'm just like, yeah, nothing.
And so obviously it's not vampirism, but the symptoms of the infection or disease that took her life and her child resembles vampirism.
Not a real word.
All right, we're gonna end it though on the vampire ghost of the Ottawa jail, and we have talked about the Ottawa jail before.
I've heard this.
Have you? I've heard the vampire.
No. We have talked about this before.
Not the vampire ghost of the Ottawa jail.
Oh, we've just talked about the Ottawa jail in general.
Hauntings, because there's hauntings that associate with the Ottawa jail, like most jail cells.
Maybe that's the vampire ghost would be a haunting, wouldn't it?
And for the Patreon, if Billy ever gets some free time, I would like to go on ghost hunts. Also, I was talking to someone at work, and they go and find abandoned buildings, like where people just picked up and left. This chick was at one. She goes with her friend, and there was still stuff in the washroom, like toothbrushes, like decayed, and I was like, how do you find these? She's like, she went to there's
an app.
She went into one of the jails that is in a close to us, a place called Woodstock, and the jail cells, the basement's flooded. It's fucking super creepy. And me and Anton are talking about doing this when I'm able to cross the border. We figure out how to reach each other between this time where America's free and I don't want to do a 2-week quarantine because that will fucking tap into my fucking finances. So we're trying to figure out how do we do this.
They don't care now, right?
If you're unvaccinated.
I just came from Costa Rica and they didn't even ask.
Really?
They didn't even ask. Well, they asked when I came back. They didn't ask when I left.
See, exactly. When you come back into Canada.
Well, yeah, like, cool. Come back into Canada. I'd be like, yeah, 100%. I'm going to quarantine in my basement.
Yeah, I know,
and then you just don't fucking do it.
That's everyone's saying. It's like you don't because you have a free right to live in your fucking country.
Yeah, you can tell them to fuck off.
So
they just spam call you.
I literally just got to get my passport figured out, which I haven't renewed because I haven't really left or done anything since in a couple of years. Like, I haven't left the country.
Yeah, you're pretty much good now.
So we want to do stuff and we all want to meet. The plan is hopefully that I'm going to meet with Anton. We're going to hang out. You know what I mean? Is the plan, but it would be awesome to get all three of us together and do something. Like Anton says, he can take us through Buffalo where there's Anton often goes to Rick James's grave.
Often.
Yeah, he just did a live on Instagram.
He goes there often.
He's done 2 lives where he goes. It's a massive graveyard. And I was watching his live. I was like, Jesus Christ, this graveyard is huge. And he's riding on his moped and he goes around the fucking grave.
Oh, he's got a moped.
Yeah, he's got a moped
We gotta go
and
downtown.
a Chrysler 300. And like we had the same car, which is funny. I was like, wow, we're destined to be best friends.
We gotta go downtown.
And they have Rick James's grave. So we talked about doing ghost hunts for the Patreon.
Tom doesn't get it, but other people
Going downtown. Is that a Rick James song? I'm not.
Downtown.
Oh yeah,
downtown.
That's a terrible fucking.
I love that song so much.
So there are 2 stories associated with the vampire ghost of the secret staircase. So these revolve around the 8-year-old son of a prison warden who moved into the governor's mansion with his family.
Okay.
When the family first arrived at the jail, the warden's son was an active, loving, happy child until one day things switched. The boy developed a mysterious illness, which grew worse over time. His personality also began to change. But by the time his family left the mansion, the now 11-year-old boy developed a crippling fear of the dark. Some prisoners believed that the boy had been preyed upon in a
bread.
No, it's like not like that someone like maybe a vampire preyed upon him. Essentially, it says a vampire who didn't drink blood, which did not feed on his blood, but rather his health and his energy. A fucking psychic vampire doesn't say that, but that's exactly what it is. It would be a psychic vampire that preyed on this kid's happy emotions and psychic vampire. That's why Anton's like, hey, there's not just like vampires that drink your blood anymore. Like, and it's existed for a long time where people like, the news media is a psychic vampire, things like that, where there's people that are with politicians, maybe like fucking Trudeau or Biden, or at least Biden's on his deathbed anyway. But like, it's just like these people that and I believe whatever you want to believe out there. Okay, I believe personally that creatures, maybe like reptilians or something, evil entities exist beyond this reality that we'll never understand.
Okay, and
they feed off of energy, right?
Yeah.
Just negative energy. It's just like their food source. And there's people every day in our waking world that do that. If it's a psychology thing, but there is people that like, if they're feeling down, they will bring you down with them. Can you agree with that?
Yep.
There's a lot of people that do that.
100%. Personally.
And they bring you down with them because they're also low. So they want you to feel the same way. So they cause trauma and terror.
A lot of people don't really want it. They want you to feel the same way, like on the surface.
Yeah.
It's like psychologically, I believe that they want you to feel as bad as they do.
Yeah.
But like, not like they really like personally believe that they're trying to bring people down, but they fucking do.
They do. And it's depressing. The second story regarding the vampire of the Ottawa jail took place in 1994 when 2 young men were staying overnight.
Okay.
In the governor's quarters. One night, Divine said, which is obviously
that is a name?
Devin, but it's spelled like divine.
Okay.
But it's someone who
he was divine.
Obviously someone who has encountered with these jails. But one night, someone who stayed within inside of the jail said maybe a ghost detector hunter. One of the men retired early for the night. He awoke suddenly to see shadows standing in the doorway. He turned on a light, but the bulb shattered.
Ooh.
Which was a bit scary. The shadow darted quickly across the room and disappeared in the corner where a set of lockers stood. Workers, so it was during this jail when it was erected.
Okay.
Workers later discovered a secret passage right where the shadow fucking vanished, man.
That's creepy. Well, you mean that just means someone who walked.
And essentially, there's all these weird stories to do with these vampire ghosts of the Ottawa jail. And I'm glad we did this because I'm glad we got deeper into vampires and all that type of stuff because it is. I love Halloween. I love bringing in the fucking season. Essentially,
I've known you for a long time. Yeah, that's fair. Tom talks about Halloween from. It starts in like
my life
June.
Is Halloween though.
June-ish is when he's like, oh, guess what's coming up. You're like, it's like 4 months away.
I know. Dude. I still love
over 4 months, 5 months, because it's the end of October.
You got one?
Sure. It's not going to be the traditional one, but I got something cool. It's time for.
It's not the same.
Billy. I like not yelling every day.
It's
Dude,
not the
that shit
same.
gave me a fucking headache every time I did it.
Chelsea did not like it, but it's not the same.
Yeah, no, she always got upset, didn't she?
She's like, why is he yelling? It's like that's how she know the episode was ending.
This is kind of cool. It's not really like a fun. Well, I guess it is a fun fact. So there's something like I'm looking up a lot of things recently of like how to break out of your box in a sense of like how to make yourself better. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. There's like doing like, yeah, I was gonna say shrooms. Short, just take a drug and
it's not
immediately
a drug,
you're better.
It's something that's been used in our cultures for centuries.
Bugging, anyways.
Billy's scared of mushrooms.
Honestly, at this point, it's more funny to say that I'm not doing it just because it bothers me.
If you don't want to change your entire life,
if I do mushrooms, fine. I probably will
just.
No, I probably just
means that we're not friends.
I probably just won't tell you I did it, and I'll continue on the trend that's saying that I'm not doing it anymore.
And that's what I don't want. I want you to experience with me, and we can hug and love each other.
What happened to my fun fact? Anyways, I've been looking up a lot of things like just expand your mind. So I came across a couple of videos, and it was actually mind blowing. So they did a research study. Have you ever heard of the jump out of the jar experiment?
No.
Okay, so they took these fleas, and every flea basically on this earth has a vertical jump of about 2 meters.
So the size of a jar,
which is insane. No, 2 meters.
Oh, that's huge.
A flea can jump this massive. Fucking high.
I was like, that's not a jar. That's like two.
So you know what they did? They took all those fleas that could jump at 2 meters. So, and they watched them, and they realized when they had babies, those babies could also jump 2 meters immediately. They're like, there was no wait time. So what happened was they put some fleas in a jar, and the fleas would jump, and they would start hitting their head on the top of the jar. So they learned to jump just high enough that they wouldn't hit the lid. Then those fleas had babies.
And they learned?
And the highest those babies ever jumped was just as high as their parents.
Oh, weird.
Then they took those babies outside of the jar, and that's still as high as they can jump.
You can't,
to prove the point of your surroundings and your environment and what you believe is your cap. Is your cap.
No, 100%.
Which is fucking mind-blowing.
Isn't that mind-blowing? And like whatever. I've been super into psychedelics, recently. And when I was on the other
one more time.
No, because listen to this, because this is interesting. And I was talking to Chelsea about this because she hasn't done them in a long time, and then we did them together. And her mind state is different than mine, where I can't stop talking. And I was like, well, I do it for essentially a living on the podcast, where I analyze everything, where if I feel like I don't talk when I'm on high doses of mushrooms, I'll explode because I have so many things going on in my brain, because your brain is essentially firing off so many neurons, and there's connectivities in your brain. And they've calculated this on people that have done placebo effects of it. Paul Stamets talks about this, and people who are doing the psychedelic mushroom psilocybin, because it's not like he doesn't like when people say shrooms.
So you know what's funny is like my whole story and what you just went off of is not even kind of correlated.
So they're saying that even with psychedelics, you can actually trace your patterns of psychedelics and doing mushrooms back to your ancestors. You can actually through psilocybin relate to our ancestors, and how when they use psilocybin, they were using it to beat fear from, say, a saber-toothed tiger, maybe, or some sort of creature that was attacking them. And those are still supposedly, and Terrence McKenna talks about this, imprinted into psilocybin. So as you take it, memories, essentially, if you awaken your consciousness enough, can actually revert back to your ancient ancestors. It's fucking mind-blowing. Cool. It's weird, because essentially this thing that's grown on Earth forever, and mushrooms are there at the beginning of life and the end of life because they're a fungus. And it's interesting. If I suggest everyone listen to Fantastic Fungi, it's fucking blows my mind. Paul Stamets is also awesome. And it's just like it essentially, these things have imprints within our consciousness, and people don't talk enough about how this thing can expand your mind from something in like lion's mane, all this stuff.
Okay.
It's fucking pretty cool. Because you made me think of that, because these imprints of how high can you jump? Essentially, what's been imprinted in our reality, in our society.
Yeah, like so. But the biggest takeaway from that is in a sense of like when somebody tells you can't do something. You know what? Another actually great.
You can do it.
You know what? You know what's insane? Have you ever heard of? And this actually goes hand in hand with all this. Have you ever heard of the gentleman named Robert Bannister?
Sounds so familiar.
So Robert Bannister is an extremely, extremely famous person because he is the first person in history to ever run a 4-minute mile. Now, before he did it, scientists, doctors did all these studies saying a human being physically can't do that because if you did, your heart would explode. And there was studies, there was all this shit to back it up. Robert Bannister said, "Fuck that, I'm gonna do it." He fucking did it. That was in like 1960. Now, or fuck, I might be wrong on the year, but it was something around that. Anyways, today now, it wasn't that long ago that he did it. Today, it's common for a high school student to be able to run a 4-minute mile.
I've heard of that before.
Isn't that insane?
Did you tell me that? I feel like I've definitely heard of that before.
I might have, but like you only reach the potential that you see as possible.
Yeah, 100%.
When there's so much more potential.
Yes, and that's
which is insane.
And what's the take from all of this is essentially to like you don't know what you're capable of. Yeah. You don't know what you're capable of. You don't know what
you're just know what you're conditioned
to. Yeah, exactly. Conditioning is a fucking real thing. I actually really
it's like grooming,
that.
Same thing.
And you know what?
Gross.
Me and Anton just did it for the first time, and I'm hoping, I'm gonna check out Billy's new place, and I'm hoping that we can do an episode for the Patreon and do a rant episode. I'll come over, I'll bring the mics and stuff like that, and we'll have some drinks. I'll probably do my dosing, and we can just chill out and let's have a good conversation because me and Anton just did one, and we fucking talked about when Anton, I've never tried LSD, when Anton did LSD when he was working as it came into this conversation of Anton's and mine psychedelic trips and how Anton was working at a restaurant having to deal with an LSD trip. It's like, oh, let's just take this, shouldn't be that much. And he's like tripping balls while like finishing his shift. And so it has never happened yet. Me and Juan have done it, but I would like to do it with you.
LSD?
No, that'd be fun. 12 hours is a long time. But I want to do a rant episode. We do a lot of Patreon stuff, and Billy
pretty much do that anyway. Pretty much every episode.
I know every episode we.
All right. Either way, we have been ranting off.
Love you guys, man.
Good episode. It was nice being back. Cheers.
Awesome.
Take care.